Well, looks like I'm back to fishing in the Disney well. Sweet. For those who may have followed my last few videos, this might seem like a bit of a content whiplash, so to speak. In all fairness, the channel's name is Stumblin Media Projector, and I'm a person who happens to enjoy different types of media, and not just video games. That's it. How about that? Phineas and Ferb are back again for a whole new series. Well, same series, new season. Now, I could talk about the new season of the show, but I want to take a look at their forgotten spin-off show. That's correct. In December 2010, Phineas and Ferb were on their way to becoming one of Disney Channel's most iconic animated shows. And as such, one of the ways that you keep a show's popularity going is create spin-offs. And so what would you do for a Phineas and Ferb spin-off? Would you make it be based on a random background character? Have it be focused on Doofenshmirtz and Perry? Please don't do this. Or do you have it be a random talk show in the same vein as Space Ghost Coast to Coast, just so that you could keep rubbing elbows with celebrities? Wait, what? So yes, 2010, a very good era for the franchise, as a matter of fact, considering that you had the upcoming TV movie Across the Second Dimension premiering the following year, as well as Disney actually doing something they hadn't done in a very long time. Try to make a theatrical movie based on one of their TV series. And then they did another thing. It never came out. And of course you had that one random Disney executive who wanted the duo to interact with real-life celebrities. Now, while it would be easy to write off the idea for such a show as just another executive having dollar signs in his eyes without ever actually watching the parent show, Phineas and Ferb weren't exactly strangers to having celebrities appear on the Mother series at this point in time. I mean, heck, just by the end of Season 2 alone, you had boxer Evander Holyfield there, you had Billy Ray Cyrus, and Don LaFontaine. You know, the original epic trailer voice guy. Big Daddy Voodoo Daddy, Ben Stiller, Kevin Smith, Seth MacFarlane, and the singer Chaka Khan. Heck, I mean, Ben Stiller even comes back in the series down the line to be properly interviewed by the duo, so... An odd premise, but even the weirdest of ideas can turn out to be surprisingly enjoyable. Or at least, ironically enjoyable. That said, from the get-go, you could see this was quickly thrown together for promotional reasons, because, wow, the production quality has taken a big nosedive from the Mother show. But I mean, on the other hand, these are literally shorts, wraparound segments between the actual shows you were tuning into the Disney Channel for, so... Who thought that this was going to have a lot of money thrown to it? The show is made up of 22 to 3 minute long episodes, each one focusing on different celebrities. Now, I say 20, but there are technically more, as there were quite a number of custom-made episodes for particular countries that would feature certain celebrities, whoever were popular within a certain home country at the time. So you had episodes made specifically for the UK, Australia, Israel, even France. Despite each episode being so short, filming for each segment of the show, at least according to this Wired article, would take about 60 to 90 minutes of live action footage, all without any script whatsoever, with everyone relying solely on improv. And the stand-in that conveyed this was Bobby Gaylor, a comedian who was used as a consultant for the show, as well as the live action stand-in for Phineas, and also happens to be the voice actor for Buford in the parent series itself. Now, not having a script isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, you got Whose Line Is It Anyway, a show that's literally built on the idea of doing improv comedy. Well, I did say it's not a bad idea, but with some of the celebrities on the show, yeah, we'll see that some of them aren't particularly good at improv or working without a script whatsoever. So, why don't we experience this awkward part of Phineas and Ferb history and take a look at this forgotten spin-off? Let's just quickly address the elephant in the room. The production value of the show is very low. I did say this before, but I want to go a little bit in depth. The characters were all animated with puppet-rigged animation in Adobe Flash, and judging from these visuals, even if you didn't know the name of this type of animation, you would immediately associate it with being cheap. Now, another thing I also want to highlight is that the green screen work is pretty terrible too, and it's a recurring problem across the entire run of the show. Firstly, and this is the most blatant one, look at the green screen outline on the chairs! You'd expect something produced by Disney of all things to at least make sure that said outline wouldn't stick out in the final product, especially this blatantly so. But nope, throughout the entire show's 20-episode run, this editing error never goes away. So yeah, honestly, from a production standpoint, this is the most egregious issue I have there, and it's amazing that no one sought to actually fix it. Like, forget about turning a blind eye, no one even looked at this. And then let's go for the animation. Now, I want to clarify one thing. The thing about talk shows in general is that you bring on guests who are currently very popular or iconic, and the thing with Hollywood is that your popularity tends to fluctuate a lot, so you kind of have to bring them on while they're relevant. Otherwise, by the time they come on, no one really cares about them, except for the really die-hard fans. But that's the thing, this is usually the idea for talk shows with live-action people and a whole audience. We're talking about animation. Animation itself takes a very long time to actually complete. Some TV shows take about a year just to finish one episode, or even 6 months. So you kind of have to cut corners in a way so that the episode can actually still come out and still be somewhat relevant by the time it hits the broadcast waves, so that the children at least have an idea who you're talking about. This was one of the reasons why Space Ghost Coast to Coast essentially had to take animation that had already been created for the 1966 show and repurpose it for whatever comedic narrative they wanted. Which I'm actually surprised they didn't go for here. I mean, at this point in time, there was more than enough material from the Mother series where they could have just taken specific bits of animation and just repurposed it to make it look nicer for the show itself. And they're not beyond the idea of reusing animation. As you'll see down the line with quite a number of these interviews, they happily reuse animation clips or just little snippets or even screenshots from the original show. So yeah, I'll give some leeway on the animation here, since the reason it's like this, it's for unavoidable reasons. That being said, when it comes to the actual acting and everything else, there is no excuse there, so let's dig in. And to also help keep a bit of a concise mental frame on how I feel about the show and each guest star, I've decided to make a little bit of a tier list. Here we have 3 categories: enjoyable, very awkward, and just okay. I think that'll make this a bit more interesting for all of us, shall we? Now let's get started. Guess one, Jack Black. Yeah, so this interview is basically Jack Black juggles stuff and then talks about playing instruments.
So how many instruments do you play?
What does it mean to play an instrument? It means to get sound out of it.
Sir, you're Jack Black. Don't get philosophical with me. Not after that terrible bit of fake juggling.
Jeremy.
Yeah. Feel it.
How about roast chickens? Live turkeys.
Oh, crap! Break their turkeys. Oh! Yeah.
A kitchen sink.
Oh, okay. More difficult.
An anvil.
Okay, that's it.
Honestly, I kind of wonder what they used behind the scenes to mimic him juggling. My guess is probably nothing, which is a shame. I mean, heck, give the man something, at least something fake to juggle at the very least. I mean, right now, effects-wise, this is looking very much like something you'd see from the Nostalgia Critic. You know, there's a special kind of weird when it's not just the celebrity that's putting in the awkward performance, but when the cartoon character does as well. Jack Black is hanging out with Yeah, so Jack Black's entire shtick is trying to be quirky, which, sure, that has always been part of his comedy routine, but it does fall apart here since he's not really allowed to go over the top, as he generally tends to. I mean, heck, it'd be a lot funnier if he just showed up in the studio dressed up as Phineas, for crying out loud. On the other hand, at least he made up for it in the 2011 Muppet movie. Yep, he made up for it tenfold. Right, let's put this one in the awkward category. Next up, Andy Samberg of the Lonely Island fame, or in what I consider to be some of his best work, Jake Peralta from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Considering that most of Samberg's comedy material is pretty adult-orientated, it's going to be interesting to see how he works with doing a family show interview, especially a Disney one. Hey, aren't you the guy who wrote the golden rule about three-ways?
Oh, Jesus, God, oh, Mary, Mother!
Oddly enough, the interview is fine. Phineas asks Samberg if he ever played soccer, and then Samberg raps a song in a stereotypical British voice.
It's no now. Things no fair. The voice is shining.
It's dumb, but I appreciate the attempt at some absurdity. That said, it was at this point where something started to feel off with the way the animated characters, especially Phineas, were being written. If the animation didn't convey that cardboard cutout feeling, the writing definitely makes Phineas feel like a pale imitation of his usual self. Not to say that the original character was the funniest or most complex, but he had his moments. This one just feels so phony. It feels like the writing lacks the wit and the comedy that the character had in the parental series. Even the voice acting feels a bit wooden, sort of like it has this fake sense of aww, just because there's a celebrity in the room. So I'm kind of torn on this one, but I think I'll just put it in the middle ground of just fine.
Next challenger, Seth Rogen.
It's Seth Rogen. Can I just preemptively put this in the awkward pile? Even when the guy has a script down for comedy, it tends to come off as a bit weird. Which, sure, it's part of the comedy that he does, but it doesn't quite bode well for improv.
From Canada. Canada is so much closer to the North Pole than we are. Did you ever see Santa Claus just walking around?
Yeah, it's so close I actually got to play Santa Claus in a show that was quickly cancelled.
Quicker than this one?
Yeah!
What even is this dialogue? Rogen then goes on about elves of the North Pole and how his favorite superpower would be to fly.
The next time you see him, can you tell him we've both been really good this year and that our friend Isabella is still waiting for a pony?
Yeah, for Hanukkah.
We prefer a platypus, like our pet Perry. Oh, there he is now. Hi, Perry.
Ball.
Wow, Ferb, he's as sharp as you said he was.
Thanks.
What's with this weird preschool dialogue? Hey, Phineas, you're the cartoon character. You're the one who should be able to emote with your face. Yeah, this is going to be a recurring problem. The characters, they don't really do anything for expressions. Like, the animation when it comes to them actually having to emote is essentially non-existent for like 90% of the series. Again, cardboard cutout. Rogen's entire performance in the short just feels weird. Same with the questions given. I am trying so hard not to make a he's high joke, but honestly, I think everyone was so high in this episode that even the voice actors were picking up the fumes from the recording booth. Into the awkward corner you go. Man, that last one just left me feeling weird, just for watching it. Okay, who's next? Oh hey, Tony Hawk. You mean the guy from those old video games that my dad plays?
Yeah, that's about right, Sonny.
Phineas and Ferb ask Tony Hawk if he can give them some bird names, which, you know, it actually feels very in character for them. Same with asking Tony about if he'd skate in a forbidden place or not.
Where is there a forbidden place you've always wanted to board? Like on the Eiffel Tower or down the side of the pyramid?
In space.
Okay.
You seem like you're already there, Tony, or at least your mind's already there. Honestly, whenever Tony Hawk appears in any interview or what have it, he just has this likable presence that it's very infectious. Same with a very laid-back, relaxing attitude. It really makes you want to actually hang out with the guy. Even if he's calm or the most underplayed star of the show in terms of how they're acting on set, Tony actually feels invested in talking about wanting to skate in space. Even when he has to reiterate to Phineas that he doesn't want to be a toilet.
I don't want to be a toilet.
Oh, and a Ferb apparently can't skate for anyhow. Not bad, gonna put this in the good category. Up next? Oh man, it's Taylor Swift. Would it be fine if I skipped this one? I don't want to risk the wrath of her very passionate fan base. I mean, I don't want to point out how awkward her entire performance is and how weirdly gushy everyone gets about her presence. Except for Phineas because, you know, again, cardboard cutout. I also don't exactly have the bomb bunker ready in the event of stating comments like how her entire shtick with greeting everyone in different languages is painfully unfunny, and how apparently when she was little she wanted to be famous and wanted everyone to sing lyrics to her songs. I could make a cult joke, and I could point out how the lighting on her and Tony Hawk were weirdly off too, and how entire delivery and performance in the interview is just so wooden.
Or when you're like, right, you're like, in the middle.
Phineas, you're not helping with the cult vibes here. Jeez, the Candace's design on these pictures are rough. So, can I skip stating my thoughts on this interview and just put it under awkward without the fear of being hunted down? Oh no! Right, let's proceed.
Please welcome Regis Philbin.
Hey, how are you? Nice to see you. Nice audience here.
Aren't you a bit young to know who Regis Philbin is?
Yes I am.
Honestly, Regis brings a lot of charm, which helps carry the interview, and even makes some of the really weird jokes bizarrely work. Especially when he starts rapping the Squirrels in My Pants song.
Making you jump like that. S to the I to the M to the P. Squirrels in my pants. And they hurt!
I guess it also helps that despite the very deadpan, somewhat formal delivery that the man always has, he has a bit of a chaotic troll side to him, like immediately going over to Phineas's chair and messing around with the buttons.
What you guys?
Oh hey, you actually got Phineas's personality down right there.
You guys have a special girl in your life?
Actually, I do. She's our mom.
Yeah, this was a fun watch. I'll put it under good. There's a reason why Philbin was an American national treasure, and considering, again, how he made the really bizarre material he was given with actually work here, yeah, I'd say more than earns that title.
In my pants. And they hurt.
Next up, Neil Patrick Harris. So, for a bit of trivia, Vincent Martella, who is the English voice actor for Phineas, played a teen Jason Todd in the DC animated feature Batman Under the Red Hood, while Neil Patrick Harris himself was Nightwing in said movie. Oh yeah, that movie also came out in 2010, so a bit of an amusing coincidence there. I can summarize this entire interview as Neil Patrick Harris's descent into turning into Count Olaf from a series of unfortunate events. Great show, by the way, would heavily recommend it. He also talks about being a theatre performer and also having an evil laugh, neither of which are necessarily exclusive of one another. Oh right, and Doofenshmirtz is just randomly here. Yeah, one of the weak parts of the show is every time that he randomly pops up, they don't really do a good job interjecting him into the episodes in a natural way, and that's probably why he doesn't appear in most of the show. Not bad, though I should be concerned that Neil Patrick Harris is an evil theatre kid that knows how to make people disappear. I'll put this in the enjoyable pile. Oh hey look, it's Randy Jackson! You know, Randy Jackson! From American Idol! Who left American Idol in 2013! Huh, so that's how I find that out. Also he was the voice of Foop in a throwaway joke in the first live-action Fairly OddParents movie.
Yo, man, it's gonna be so cool, man. We're gonna be bumping, man, trying to help the boys out. You know how we do it. You feel me, dog?
So the shtick for this episode is that Randy Jackson decides to give Phineas and Ferb a bunch of dog owners, and then talks about eating the head of a crawfish. I mean, okay. Oh, and he also dunks on Candace's singing ability.
Gitchy gitchy goo means that I love you. What do you think?
Wow. No.
That was our sister Candace.
And he also has generic as hell advice on how to become successful, because, to be fair, even on American Idol, he was the least judgiest judge on the entire show. And I mean that without a hint of sarcasm.
Incoming singers.
Learn as much as you can, work as hard as you can, never ever stop practicing. Your moment will come, but be ready when your moment arrives.
That's cool, thanks.
I'll put this one on the awkward pile. The man just has absolutely zero charisma whatsoever. And again, it's just, it's very clear he has no idea how to put on a performance at all.
Please welcome Emma Roberts. Hi guys. Hi.
In this episode, we learn that Emma Roberts can cry like a baby, except that the baby effects are dubbed in. And very clearly so. And not to mention that they even reused said sound effect for one of the non-US episodes. Which again really makes me question the whole, yeah, the entire thing was nothing but improv. Especially when you're literally reusing the exact same script for other celebrities.
Absolutely. That was...
You know, it's funny, at the time that this came out, and even nowadays, she has the horror icon title of being a Scream Queen. Well, I guess we now know why she's a Scream Queen and not a Crybaby Queen. But you know, since this is a family show, we're not exactly going to bring up her being in Rob Zombie's Halloween now, are we? Instead, they talk about mermaids and how she believes in mermaids and the fact that she played a mermaid in a 2006 movie that, you know, even by 2011 people had already forgotten about. Oh yeah, and Buford burps in her face and she burps right back. But again, her burp is dubbed over for some reason.
I have a question for Emma. How do you get a boy's attention when he doesn't know you exist? Other than hitting him with a stick.
I'm gonna say drop an anonymous note in his locker or on his desk or something.
Okay, stick, bad. Anonymous note, good.
Oh right, Emma Roberts is also known as a Scream Queen, so naturally it makes sense for the episode to end with everyone screaming and me being thankful that the goat meme wasn't known in Hollywood circles yet. Yeah, I'll put this in the in-between. Roberts is trying, but it feels like the material is literally trying to sabotage her in every capacity possible. Next up, Cedric the Entertainer. Yeah, for some reason I couldn't come across this particular episode in English, so all I could say is, what the heck is he wearing? Actually, wait, what the heck was Jack Black wearing back in the first episode? Anyway, next up, David Beckham. You know, the soccer player. I swear to God, if I hear a who's that? Beckham is asked about food he's eaten and proceeds to eat animated bugs for $10. Oh, and he also shows off some soccer tricks too, and then eats a banana off his foot. Phineas feels a bit more on form here, and Beckham just has this down-to-earth demeanor that doesn't feel fake, even when he's being told to eat a banana off someone's foot. This is Disney, sir. We save that for Nickelodeon. Honestly, this episode feels like they actually put in more effort. Even with the animation, like the soccer moves that Ferb does, and even Buford being kicked around the world. It's not amazing, but you know, I gotta appreciate when an attempt is made. Oh yeah, Beckham actually destroys Buford. And I'll put this in the good pile.
Please welcome comedian Howie Mandel.
Thank you, please.
Isabella is a Howie Mandel fan, and everyone awkwardly goes ta-da for the weirdest thing possible, and Howie looks dead inside and reminds us that he voiced Gizmo. It's silly, but not silly enough of an episode that I could call it enjoyable. Oh yeah, also Ferb kills a bird, and awkward hair pieces. Oh hey, Miss Piggy is next. This episode probably only exists to try and market the 2011 Muppet movie. Would explain why Jason Segel was a guest on the show too.
Do you speak Igpate Attenley?
What?
That's Pig Latin. In Pig Latin.
I don't speak it, but I can read it.
Phineas, that's racist. Piggy is on point, but you can also tell she's been really toned down for the show. I don't know, something about Miss Piggy being too hardcore for Phineas and Ferb. It's just a funny idea. I'll put it in the middle. And also, boo! I'm not letting Miss Piggy actually karate chop the desk.
How about a block of ice? You got one of those?
We do inexplicably have a large block of ice right there.
So you do.
Oh hey, actual Phineas and Ferb to your right again. Also, the Miss Piggy rap is just weird. It's just weird.
This is a hot steam, hot stones, hot water, hot wax. What's number 2 in your HPs again? Help it relax.
Please welcome Ty Pennington.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for being on our show.
What are you doing with a megaphone?
You know, the host of Extreme Makeover. The show that forced a lot of people to sell their houses because they couldn't afford to maintain them.
And you never know when they're going to come in handy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wonder why Ty feels like he's ready to just shout at random.
Why start one project when you can almost finish 3?
Is it okay if I don't write that one down?
Please tell me the homes that they made on Extreme Home Makeover didn't actually fall over. Ty is okay, but nothing particularly funny or all that engaging. Also, they built a birdhouse, and I swear they recycled the same footage 3 times where Ty hurts his thumb. Ah, great, the budget's running low. We gotta recycle the live-action footage too. It definitely seems like in the later episodes, they've managed to get down Phineas's personality, since his general dialogue actually feels like something he would say in the regular show. So there's an improvement, even if it is admittedly pretty late in the game. I'll put Ty in the awkward one. Seriously, what was half of that episode in the reused footage? Next up, Shaun White. You know, Shaun White! The snowboarder! The star of the video games Shaun White Snowboarding! Which no one bought! Why the heck is Shaun White here? White is clearly going for the very laid-back attitude that Tony Hawk also went for. But, you know, he seems more jet-lagged rather than relaxed. Or, I don't know, maybe he's still picking up the fumes from whatever Seth Rogen smoked when he came onto the set.
We know that you won a gold medal. Is it true that your mom dry cleaned it?
She did, yeah. My mom took my medal to the dry cleaners. And it came back on the little plastic hanger.
does it sound like he's not sure what happened to his medals?
You do a lot of cool tricks. How do you name them?
It depends. I mean, sometimes I take a trick that's already existing that has a name and you kind of alter it, or you do something brand new. And
isn't this literally the I made this meme? Because, I'm starting to see why, when looking at videos on Shaun White on YouTube, one of the first ones are literally why snowboarders don't like Shaun White. Awkward green screen tricks, let's go! Yeah, nah, Shaun White is just in the awkward part. Bless the writers for the animated segments for trying to actually add life to the interview, but nah, this isn't working whatsoever.
Please welcome TV legend Larry King.
Glad to see you.
Thanks for being here.
My pleasure, Phineas. You too, Ferb.
Larry King has this crazy amount of energy in this episode, on top of also providing some of the most realistic advice on the entire show.
The secret of success in acting or comedy or anything is sincerity. And if you can fake that, you got it made.
The man is able to make dancing with a human version of a coat rack actually look natural. Though there's also the awkward green screen on the dancer that they got for him, which, it's so bad it loops around back to being flat out hilarious. That's it, no script, huh? Then how did you know you needed a stunt dancer, huh? Behold, Perry the Platypus, my stuntinator! Jason Segel! Yeah, for some reason I couldn't find an English version of this episode outside of a random improv music bit, so terribly sorry there. And now for Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller returns to the Phineas and Ferb world by revealing he's a planking enthusiast. Dear God, what is up with the lighting on him here? Stiller also brings out some of his Zoolander tier humor with a joke about his sister, who is literally just him in a wig.
What do you think is the funniest word ever?
I would say papoose.
Papoose!
Where I come from, that word does refer to a particular part on a woman. So I've got two bits of Disney media that refer to a woman's vagina. I don't know what to make of that.
Nice poochie poochie.
Honestly, I'm actually enjoying the amount of innuendos they're getting away with this time around. Like, wow. Considering how dry the show had been for the most part, this actually does liven it up, albeit in a very unexpected manner. Same with the absurdity of Ben Stiller planking on literally everything. Well, everything that's animated.
I really love to shake it out after I plank, Because, you're so... And then you get to be all loosey-goosey after.
Okay, this is too easy. So never animate Phineas looking like this again. Please. Right. Time for the final guest of the US show. Guy Fieri. The guy that loves food. That's literally all I got from his career. And I mean, hey, he does look like someone that enjoys food. He also gives me the vibe of someone I catch at surfing, or nearby the beach a lot. Unfortunately, he's in the awkward side of things again. Also endorsing ketchup on watermelon, that is an automatic. Stay out of my kitchen forever. Never set foot in that one. Heck, never set foot in any kitchen whatsoever until you die.
You gotta try all different types of foods. You're not gonna be a chef by eating fried chicken and french fries all the time.
So we should try different things, like ketchup on watermelon.
Oh, yeah!
I'm getting hungry already.
Holy shoot! There was room in the budget for CG! And, well, that's about it for the show, at least in its American run. And, yeah, if we take a look at the tier list, a lot of it was very awkward. And I'm not surprised that it's been forgotten since, outside of all the weird celebrity picks and just the weird acting, there was definitely a struggle to keep the characters' basic personalities down. Not to mention that by being a Phineas and Ferb series that's missing any significant play from Perry and Dr. Doofenshmirtz, it really does feel like I'm watching the safest bit of celebrity promotion ever. Not to mention the weird spots where they would just take bizarre financial shortcuts on the animation. Now, the series technically does have more episodes, but those were specifically produced for the non-US market, and they also reuse a lot of gags from the original show, right down to even reusing the entire script. Hey, look, Candace is a fake Taylor Swift fan, and I'm not surprised. Not to mention, at times, it definitely felt like they didn't have enough material to fill up the entire 2-minute slot, which, it's actually kind of crazy for me to learn that in South Korea, for example, these entire segments went on for 10 minutes. And I don't want to imagine how drawn out that felt, considering, again, they struggled to keep enough material in a good amount of these episodes for just a 2 to 3 minute runtime. For the most part, Take 2 with Phineas and Ferb is a surprisingly mundane series of shorts that don't really stand on their own, and even with the odd moments that do crop up from time to time, it's not enough for me to say that the whole series was worth the watch. I mean, from Phineas being a cardboard cutout of himself to just so many celebrities that could not improv, let alone act for the life of them. I mean, it's an interesting time capsule, but again, I can see why it's been forgotten about. That's it. It does make for a fun conversation piece. So would I recommend it? Not really, but you know, if you're feeling curious, I don't see any harm in checking it out. Who knows, maybe with the next talk show they're producing, they'll nail it down. The fact that it's going to be fully animated is already admittedly a good sign of at least a quality increase from what they have before. Or, you know, they'll create another talk show that's more amusing in the ironic sense. Alright, one thing I forgot to mention, Richard Hammond was in the non-US show.
Hammond, you idiot! You reversed into the sports lorry!
I can't think of any better note to go out on. See you next time. Thank you very much for tuning into another episode. I am sorry that this one took a bit of time. I don't really know why, outside of trying to balance the video making with some freelance tasks that I currently have on my back. I would love to do this full time, and who knows, maybe someday, or hopefully the voice acting that I've been doing picks up soon. Next projects, ideally they'll be a bit easier to do. I'm actually surprised at this video's length. 31 minutes, that was completely unexpected. But again, I really hope that people enjoy the video, and who knows, hopefully this can be a full-time thing soon enough. Hope you have a lovely day further, and if you would like to support, feel free to subscribe to my Patreon, or donate to me a coffee below. Have a lovely day.